Hi everyone, Gabriella here. This week is a big one for me as I am building my shed. Those of you which have been following my progress would have seen this far corner of my allotment plot, overgrown, dishevelled and basically a weedy mess. If you're new to my channel, do subscribe because next week there's a whole lot of harvesting. There were a few hours spent on the ground prep for this area, digging it off, levelling it off, and then laying down a lightweight weed matting for the flags to be positioned on. During the 4 years I was waiting for an allotment plot, I accumulated a lot of fixtures and fittings that have been kept in storage for far too long. And today is the day it's coming out and getting delivered. What do I mean by fixtures and fittings? Well, water butts, compost bins, strawberry pallets, tables and chairs, plastic sheeting, mushroom crates, 2 raised beds, tools, timber, and pots. Many, many pots. The delivery took 2 hours to load up and 30 minutes to unload. I don't want to say that everything has been dumped, but everything has been positioned in a way that it doesn't block the main paths. To clarify, the shed I'm building is a hybrid of a potting shed, come greenhouse, come storage shed. Somewhere I can store tools and pots, organise bric-a-brac, and most importantly, have a roof to collect rainwater. I've chosen this far corner because it's tucked away and doesn't take up valuable sunshine growing space, and also has enough space in and around it to position my water butts. Before I got this plot, I rented 93-year-old Beryl's garden. There I was able to build a small greenhouse to grow tomatoes. When I had to leave, I dismantled and kept everything I built in storage, in the hope of getting an official allotment plot. With the delivery from storage now complete, I can assess how much timber I have to build the frame of my new shed. There are a lot of various size pieces of timber, so let me talk you through the measurements of my build. The 2 shorter sides are 1.2 metres long, 3x2, laying flat on the flags. That's why it's very important to level the ground off before I started building. I have laid a 2.4 metre long, 1 inch by 12 inch board at the back that will go into the 2 sides of the base, and the 3 uprights at the back. The back of the shed is made up of 3 lengths of 3 metres of 3x2 CLS treated timber. Once the back was up, I screwed in the back board into the posts that were laying on the ground, creating an L shape. I assembled this back wall on the floor because it would have been too difficult for me to hold the long timber straight while drilling at the base. Next, I took a 2.4 metre long 3x2 timber and screwed it to the end piece to create the first corner of my shed. I then braced the front corner with the back corner using a 1.2 metre 3x2 cutoff. I repeated this process for the other corner, screwing in the upright at the base, then cross-bracing with the back in the centre with a 1.2 metre piece of timber. Now I have my 2 sides up and brace, I'm going to brace the back wall with 2 cross sections of timber. My dad always repeated, measure twice, cut once. Well, me and my ADHD brain measure 10 times, cut 3 times, which explains why I've got so many different pieces of timber and why I've had to readjust this one side wall 4 times before I got it right. With my main frame up, I need to get my roof on. I kept the roof intact from my old greenhouse, and I did consider the measurements, but not millimetre perfect. Mr. Big has arrived on scene to help me get the roof up, but not before he makes a few adjustments to the 1.2 metre timbers that cross at the back of my initial frame. The roof fits well, the sides just need a little persuading to fit into place. We use timber clamps to secure the roof to the uprights while all 4 corners get screwed together. Mr. Big has adjusted the back braces, but now has moved on to the sides. I'm adamant that my measurements were good, but I soon realised that good doesn't mean straight. The sides of the shed are going to be covered with 5mm polycarbonate sheets. These sheets were a Facebook find that were not only free, but when I told her I was building a greenhouse shed thing, she gave me a white fruit currant bush for my allotment, bless her. The sheets are 3 metres long and need to be cut down. Using a Sharpie, I mark a line and use a circular saw that makes light work of the task. I then used 30 small 10mm screws to tightly fit the sheet to the back wall. Same process is used for the next sheet that goes above. My phone then died. So I built my shed yesterday. I was really, really chuffed. So that didn't really go to plan. My allotment neighbour rang me to say they heard a big crash and that my shed had fallen over. I tried to pull it up myself, but the angle and the broken fence prevented me from being able to get it up. Mr. Big to the rescue. Now, the new task is weighing it down and securing it to the ground. Firstly, we add old timber window lintels to each side to give it more weight. These are just positioned on top of the existing 3x2s and screwed into the base and into the uprights. Then we move the frame over 2 foot and adjust the flags. To secure the frame to the ground, Mr. Big hammers 2 stakes into the ground at the corner of the frame. To prevent the stakes from splitting, we use a timber cut-off to act as a barrier that will take the impact rather than splitting the piece of wood. This process is then repeated on the other corner. The stakes, after much hammering and much adjustment, are in the ground by 1 foot each, and they are then screwed into the new added lintels as an anchor. What gardener doesn't love a pallet? I certainly do. For extra weight, I add a pallet to each side of the shed. This not only gives weight, but acts as a storage rack for tall tools. The pallet is screwed into the frame from the inside at all 4 corners. The pallet on the right stores tools such as rakes, forks, and spades. And after Mr. Big has added a base to the left-hand pallet, I can store short hand tools. Ta-da! And there it is, my lovely new shed. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe because next week we've got a lot of harvesting to do. See you next Sunday. Bye.